There we go. Going live. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, there we are. There we are. There we good. We good, baby. Nobody's going to know we're doing a stream, but other than that, because I didn't get a chance to promote, I could do that live, I guess. Let's see. See if anybody's here. I don't think anybody's here. Okay. Let's go over to Twitter. Hello, Twitter. Let's see. I'd have to get to the... Why do I have to relearn everything when I do this? I can't get to the link there. Okay, I'll just have to figure out on YouTube how to get to my own channel. Okay, there I am. And we're live. There we go. I'll just put that on. Get the thing there. Drop it on Twitter. Live. Now. And link. I know I should have done this ahead of time, but I literally just walked in the door. JEC. Hi, hi, hi. What's going on, JEC? I literally just walked in the door. Just barely made it in time for 7 o'clock. I had no prep whatsoever. Oh, man. Hopefully, I just tweeted out. Hopefully, people will see it. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream with Little Joan. Right, Little Joan? Let's get you situated. There you go. So people can see you. All right, don't get upset. She's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? You're moving my seat. Give people like a minute or two to get in here, hopefully. Today, this weekend, fantastic weekend. Book sales through the roof. Well, not through the roof, but pretty good. Pretty good Saturday. JC, usually get more people when you go later. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Do I? Maybe. Well, I definitely want to do a live stream tomorrow night. I'm going to do the Halloween live stream either way. So that one I'll have time to promote. And I'm going to promote it on Loaded Eaters if they decide to use the video comment. They've been cutting out the video comment a lot of late, simply because they had guests and they run long, and I send in my video. One time I sent in my video comment, I think I sent it in too late because it was literally like 4 o'clock in the morning when I sent it, and I guess it would have been 9:30 UK time, and they probably were already prepping the show. I want to go live tomorrow at 7, so 7 again. That shouldn't be an issue. The trick-or-treaters will be done, and I got nothing going on tomorrow, believe it or not. I'm surprised. I really tried to get a Halloween event going, but I guess most of them happened over the weekend. Most of them happened Saturday, which is why I sold so many books, I guess. I sold a ton of books at Voorhees at a it was like a fall festival, and then I went to the Devil's Creek Brewery in Collingswood, and one guy bought 24 books. It was nuts. I like couldn't believe it. He was like, "Well, do you really want to sign that many?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And then today I sold some, but not a lot. It was a weird day at the went to this harvest festival, and the table was way too close to the music, and it was so loud. I was screaming over the singer to try to get myself heard. JC, I never get any kids coming by where I am. I always end up eating all the candy myself. That is called stealth trick-or-treating. And I also innovated that. I, too, buy candy that I like and don't decorate my house. so the kids aren't sure if they should bother knocking or not. JC, he bought 24 books for his store or something. No, he bought 24 books. He bought a set of books for himself. Right now I have 10 Piney books. So he wanted a set of Piney books for himself and a set for his friend. And then I have some comics. I have 2 graphic novels, Post-Apocalyptic Nick and Lester Crenshaw is Dead. And so they were on the table too. And he bought a copy for himself each, and then a copy, also 2 copies for his friend. So he is a very generous man, and I love him. Because that just made my night. I wasn't sure how much I was going to sell at Devil's Creek Brewery, and then he came in and bought all those books, and I'm like, oh, I'm gold. I'm gold for the night. So that total was $206 retail. So I was pretty damn happy about that. And then I sold more books on top of that. And if I drank beer, I would have gotten free beer. So it was a pretty good night, except the Phillies lost. So, but what's Lester Crenshaw is Dead about? It is about a comic geek who gets turned into a vampire. And his stepmom and his sister have to help him be a vampire. You can read them. You could read Lester Crenshaw online at the Web Comic Factory. So here it is, Lester Crenshaw is Dead, and then the sequel, Lester Crenshaw is Still Dead. So they're both online, and then the graphic novel for the first one is $15. So I published that through Comics Mix. They're really nice guys, and it came out really nice. But as always, it's hard to push this stuff. But Halloween, I sold a few Lester Crenshaws, which I usually have it on the table, and it goes well with the Pineys, but, you know, the Pineys is sort of the main thing now, so I can only push the other stuff so hard, and people see the Piney. I have a big sign, a big backdrop, if you've ever seen it, so people see that, and they go for that, and yeah, so Lester Crenshaw is Dead. Highly recommended. As I recommend all the things I write. Yeah, it was a great night. Except, yeah, the Phillies. But I don't really follow baseball that closely. But they're in the World Series, so I kind of would like them to win, I guess. You know, it was sad. I feel like every time I watch a team and I root for them, they lose. Except when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that was kind of fun to watch Tom Brady lose for once, and then and now he's back. Now he's getting divorced. Now I feel bad for him. Divorce is hell. It's absolute hell. Well, I won't go into it, but I feel bad for a guy like that, and I just look at a woman like Giselle, and I'm just like, what more do you want? That guy, that guy is like the world's greatest athlete. He's worth millions of dollars. He's handsome. Yeah, I could do better. I could do better. That's what I imagine her saying. I could probably do better than him. Probably some guy won more Super Bowls, more muscular, more money. It's like, how are you going to trade up from Tom Brady? I don't know. She is out there. Or she's going to be, I mean, at least Sylvester Stallone's wife came back, right? Sylvester Stallone's wife had one foot out the door, and then they reconciled their differences, and good for him. Again, another one, like, what more do you want? JC, he probably cheated on her a million times, though, LOL. I don't know. Tom Brady doesn't seem like that kind of guy. I mean, he's not religious. He wasn't the religious football guy, right? But he seems like the sort of guy that wouldn't do that, especially when you have kids, because that's like another whole level of cheating. Like, it's one thing to cheat on your wife or your spouse when it's just you two. It's kind of like, it's kind of like your marriage is just endless dating. That's all it is, really, when you get right down to it. But when you have kids, you've gone, and then you cheat? Oh, man, you've really you've hurt your family, because you really have hurt your children by doing that too. So I don't know, maybe, but then again, like, you know, he is Tom Brady and he's on the road. Maybe he needs to relax every once in a while. I don't know. I doubt it though. It seems like that scandal would come back to haunt him. If he was cheating on his wife, I think somebody would have seen, right? You'd think someone would see some girls going up to Tom's hotel room. But maybe. I mean, a lot of guys cheat. There was I'll tell you a funny story. It's a thing in Italian circles sometimes with certain guys. And so this guy wasn't related to me, but like I think a friend of the family, one of their relatives, went to this funeral for a guy, an older guy who had died. He had a heart attack, but he had a heart attack in this other woman's place. And come to find out, after he died, he had had a girlfriend for like 30 years. Basically, as long as he was married, he also had a girlfriend. So, and no one knew. So, he had his wife and his kids, and they thought he was a straight up guy, but all the time, he had a girl on the side for years. I mean, that's 3 decades of cheating. And he had 2 women simultaneously. Like, how do you even do that? Like, I just don't understand how it's even done. I barely have time for a life myself. The idea of like doing the work to date now is so to me. And this guy was my age or older when he died. Like how much work? It just seems like so much work to have 2 women yell at you. Ha! Right? It's like, what? You're gonna have a girlfriend and a wife? I just don't see the appeal. Like, it almost makes more sense. Like, okay, he had a wife, he was cheating on her, but like, he was just banging girls at random. Like that to me makes more sense. It's like, well, he just couldn't get enough sex. JC, why would you have 2 long-term relationships going at the same time? Sounds exhausting. Yes, this is what I'm saying. It's like, one relationship can be exhausting. Is exhausting, I should say. Just exhausting. Women will exhaust you. The money helps, I guess. He had a bit of money. He wasn't a millionaire, but he had, I guess he had enough to juggle 2 girls, to buy them birthday gifts and anniversary gifts and take them out to dinner. I mean, how do you even do that? What is the move there? Like, I guess you have to have a wife who's such a homebody, she almost never goes out. Bizek. Hi, folks. Hi, Bizek. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry for the lack of advertising. Joan, are you already bailing? Are you going to bail? Hardly anyone's here yet, Joan. You're missing out. God, she stinks. She stinks. You want to get down? All right, you want pet. Yeah, so I just don't get it. I just don't get cheating on your wife. Bezek, I can't afford me, let alone a whammon. Yo, no, who can afford a whammon? You'd think whammon would be cheaper than a woman. I think probably whammon are more of a cost in mental anguish than monetarily. And regular women are just expensive depending on how high maintenance they are. Well, the ones that say, "Oh, I'm low maintenance," they're not. They are not low maintenance. And they're just wired differently. Like they do not go backwards in lifestyle ever. Nah, that's a huge defeat for a woman. Bezek, I shield for you in the Sultan's Discord. Oh, thank you so much. That was very nice of you. Um, yeah, I literally just walked in and started the live stream at 7. I just made it back here. I was at a show in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and then I had to stop somewhere else, and now I'm here. And all right, Joan, you getting down? All right, say bye to Joan, everybody. I'm low maintenance, yeah. I'm not like other girls, exactly. I like sports. I love sports. No, they don't. I dated a girl for, I think we dated for like a year and a month. And she told me when we first met that she loved The Simpsons. And at the time, I was watching The Simpsons like 3 times a day because the reruns were on constantly. And I would always watch it. It was all the good ones. And so whenever I was over her house, we'd put it on, watch it with dinner. And I'd laugh and she'd laugh. And I thought, oh, she really does like The Simpsons. That turned out to be a total lie. And she just said straight up one day, after about a year, close to when we broke up, she was just like, oh, I just said that because I wanted to date you. And I was just like, well, that's lame. So, yeah. Women will do that to you. That's why I almost tell women nothing on my dating profile. I just make jokes. And, yeah, I don't want to tell them anything because I don't want them to pull that chameleon move and say, oh, I'm into this. And a lot of them do say they're into sports, and I think they're mostly lying. I think some will tolerate sports and a handful are kind of into it, but I don't think they're really into sports. I know they're into shoes. Show me a woman without more than, 5 sets of shoes, just black shoes. I mean, JC, everyone liked The Simpsons. Yeah, but she literally hadn't even watched The Simpsons before she met me. She had never seen an episode. Bazek, and they have to hide. They hide to get upset when they're questioned about the specifics. Oh yeah, that's a move. But I'll give my ex credit. She didn't do that. She just said, "Oh, I was just lying." It's faint praise, I guess, but JC, women are into handbags. Yes, handbags. Shopping, really. Anything that you could purchase. I have an ex she's just a shopaholic. If it was on sale and it was a good deal in her mind, she'd buy it, regardless of what it was. Anything. Name a thing. She'd buy it. Mm-hmm. You'd have to go pretty far afield for her to go, no, I don't need that. She bought once a 30-pound bag of candy. 30 pounds. I said, I told her once, I don't like to keep candy in the house because it makes me fat, with Halloween being an exception, obviously. Like a once a year thing. But I don't like to purchase things that make me fat because I'll eat them. I just get bored and I eat them. I have to be in the house hungry for something sweet and then realize, I don't have anything. Do I want to go to the store? No. Bazek, I'll never understand how people can enjoy shopping. I find it excruciating. Yeah, me too. Or, what I do is I go shopping with a plan so I can get in and out of the store as quickly as possible. So I go right to the stuff I need. I throw it in the cart. I go right back to the cashier and I'm out. But women love that sort of gathering instinct, I guess, to look, maybe this, maybe that. Well, that looks nice. Maybe one day I'll come back for you. Yeah, I'm ready to kill myself if I get into one of those modes. I'm in the store. I'm like, some people walk in the store. I fast walk. I'm fast walking through the store, and I get annoyed when people are slow walking, and I have to get around them with my shopping cart. Come on. We're in the damn store. Let's get the hell out of here. But yeah, no, women, they love it. They love the shopping. Even if they don't buy anything, they like the look. JC, I like going to bookstores. Any other kind of shopping, I just try to get it done real quick as possible. Yeah, I think bookstores are different because you have to, the whole process of book shopping is one of reading. Same thing with comic books. You're looking, I guess with guys, there are certain things like if you go car shopping or, you're looking at motorcycles or lawn mowers or something like that, something cool, then yeah, you might linger and check it out. Or I don't know. I guess guys like for bigger purchases, I did a lot of shopping when we were looking for a washing machine because I wanted to get a good deal. I got into that mode. We got to get a good deal. When I got my microwave, I got a good deal because there was a dent in it, and it was like one of those places where they return stuff. It's the return stuff. Like somebody had bought my microwave but didn't like it, or I guess they dropped it, and then I bought it, and it works fine. It's just got a little dent in it, and but I got it for like $50, and it's like a $300 microwave. So, I got a deal, Jerry. I got a deal. So yeah. I mean, those are the kind. Other than that, yeah, I don't really like shopping. I don't even like food shopping as much as I love food. If I could, I would probably order everything off of Amazon, but you can't really get fresh. Well, you can kind of get fresh produce on Amazon if you order from Whole Foods, but then somebody else is picking it out and touching it. I don't like that. Bazek. I miss the good old bookstores. They're just full of romance novels, young adult trash. Not that I mind young adult, but it's oversaturated. Absolutely. Yeah, the thing about bookstores and book publishing in general, and I've talked about this before, it's just been taken over by women. It's all women all day long in the publishing world, and they write books for women. They kind of can't help that in a certain respect, because I think I told the story where I was hired to write for a male audience, but the women who were my editors refused to acknowledge what men like, and they kept pushing it more female, and I kept telling them, no, that's not what men would like. That's what you would like because you're a woman. That's not what men look for in a story. Like they wanted to make it more racy and erotic, and I said, well, men don't really want that, but I can put that in there the way men would like it. And you can imagine, bookstores have giant manga sections now, the ones I go to. Yeah. Well, that stuff's not really compromised nearly as much. So I said to them, if you're going to write smut for men are visually oriented, and if you don't have pictures, well, you can understand how crude the descriptions would have to be for men to be even remotely interested. It's basically like Peter Rodica on Family Guy. It's going to be like she had huge boobs, like massive jugs that barely fit in this bra that was tight on her, and you could see almost everything. Like that's the kind of description a guy likes. And then I put that stuff in there, and they were like, no. We want romance and teasing. And I'm like, no, that's not what guys want. That's what you want. And back and forth it went until I was basically fired. I gotta answer this. Okay. So, yeah, the manga. By the way, RJ at the Fourth Age has a good video today. His videos are all great if you haven't seen him. But he was talking about that a little bit today in his video. And it's like manga hasn't really changed all that much. It hasn't gone woke. But, he talked about the differences between that and American comics. But it's decent stuff. I mean, definitely compared to the American comics right now. JC, I've gotten back into buying new comics, but I switched to just getting the collections. Every time I'm in line for the cash register, I'm surrounded with kids with stacks of manga. Yeah, because that stuff's still good, and American comics are trash. Unless you're getting like what you're getting, like collections, like classic stories. old X-Men or old anything, essentially. I mean, I can't, I guess there's a handful of decent stories from the modern era if you can find them. I don't know. I'm not following it anymore. I can't afford it. I can't afford comics. They're too expensive. $5 a comic? No, thank you. No, I think I'll pass on your $5 comic, Marvel and DC. Bezek, I quite like me some romance because I'm a lonely softy. There's a vast difference between romance and genre romance. Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. It was a whole weird thing that I was working for. I can't talk too much about it because it was a ghostwriting gig, but um, it's but I've worked with other women in publishing, and it's just they have their own deal, and that is it, man. That is it. They didn't want any input from me, the writer, and I would be like, well, let's do something crazy, or let's do this, and let's do that, and nobody wants cool stories like, I always tell people about Max Bolan, the Executioner. He was a character back from the 70s, early 80s. He was the Punisher before the Punisher. The rumor is they basically ripped off Max Bolan, the Executioner, and created the Punisher based on him. I don't know if there's direct evidence of that, but like the author is dead. So anyhow, they used to make these trade paperbacks about this dude who would kill mafia guys, and they were cool. They were like James Bond kind of stuff. James Bond was like that. Like now, men don't read because they don't make that kind of stuff. JEC, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips have a detective series I like a lot called Reckless. The new volume just came out. And that's is that a comic or is that a not novel? I assume that's a comic because you got two guys writing it. But yeah, I mean, now it's like, I don't know, everything is just so soft, and when it comes to like novels, I mean, you can go to town. You can go to town on novels. You can do whatever the F you want, just about. I mean, you don't want to write the Turner Diaries. That's going way too far, but, you can write some cool stuff. Because first off, most people don't even read effing books anymore. I'm trying to appeal to a male audience that they all pass. It's really tough. Like, I'm wearing my hunting gear when I'm out at the shows. I got my camo hat and my hunting vest, and I got my beard, and I'm looking like a Piney, which is part of my shtick. And so when I see guys dressed that way, and I see a lot of them at these open air shows with their wives, yes, it's a comic they publish, and it's hard covers. Skips through the floppies, goes right to the collections. Well, that makes sense. Maybe, yeah, I'll have to check it out. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Ed Brubaker because I didn't like his Batman all that much, but he's got his own style. I'm not knocking him, but there's something about him that rubbed me the wrong way a long time ago. I can't remember what, but yeah. So it's hard to sell to men. One of the appeals I try to do for my books is I tell them, well, it's a really short book, because part of the people being gun shy is they don't want to invest the time. And I know me personally, I don't like super long books. They're too long. They're just too much of a time investment. And if they're shorter, then at least if it sucks, I can say, well, I didn't like it, but I didn't destroy my week over it. JC, you ever read Ed Brubaker's Criminal with Sean Phillips? Is one of my top favorite comics ever. No, I don't think so. Was that like 50 Bullets, or was that was something different, right? So yeah, it's really tough. But I've gotten a few converts, a few guys who would give me a shot. They bought the book. Oh, it's only $8. That's the other thing too. It's like comics now are $5, basically $4.99, and I can sell my book my novella for 8, and it's like, you're going to get a lot more reading out of my book than you are out of a regular comic these days. So at least I'm competing on that level. And that's part of that. To me, is the number one problem with comics. They're just too expensive now. You know, some of the local guys near me make a comic called The Vampires of New Jersey, which is a pretty good comic. I mean, the art's nice, but they started charging $5, I think $4.99, back when comics were still JC. No, it was called Criminal. It was a series of miniseries, just really well done noir crime stories. No, I have to check that out. I vaguely remember hearing about it. But this was a few years ago, when comics were hovering around $3.99, these guys, an independent group, they were doing comics for $4.99. And I thought, that's a little pricey. That's a little steep. Now, they didn't have ads, so they had a slightly more pages, and the art was very nice. But again, it's like, and now they're competitive, and it's like, man, $5 a comic. I mean, I used to go to the comic book store and buy 15 comics for like $30, and that would be my afternoon of reading comics. You know. Now you're talking like, I get 6 comics. It's not going to take me through an afternoon. It's going to be like more like 2 hours tops, and it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, and Marvel and DC really don't have an excuse in my book, you know, other than they're not making any money. But when's the last time they made money? But they could be if they just made their comics cheaper and more efficiently, I think. If they put it on cheaper paper and combine them instead of doing all these floppies that are barely pamphlets now. I mean, really, the average comic now, I think I counted it up one time. It's 36 or 38 pages, and which means 16 pages are ads. About 16 pages are ads. That's almost half the book, right? And I get it, you need to make it cost effective, but when you're talking a 22-page comic with 16 pages of ads, it's almost half and half. You might as well have an ad every page at that point. But, you know, it's just like something's very wrong with your readership if you've got to jam that many ads in it. And they used to have, you know, back in the day, they used to have those. If you look at the old comics, they used to have this ad. It was like the guys who sold all this stuff mail order. You know, it was all like prank stuff. You know, you'd put this thing in a cigarette and it would explode, and the giant 40-foot balloon and all these crazy things you could buy. JC, if I'm lucky, there are 3 or 4 titles a month I'm interested in at the comic book stores. No reason not to wait for the trade at this point. Yeah, it's a shame because all they would have to do in Marvel and DC is go back a little bit, right? Go back to a point at which things were edited well enough that it was a continuity you could follow. Because that was the beauty of reading it when I read them back in the 80s. Because you would read a comic, you would read Captain America, and it might start with him getting out of the Quinjet and going back to his apartment, because there would be a note that says, this comic takes place after the events of Avengers number whatever. So you would know, oh, okay, I just read that Avengers, now I'm reading the Captain America that takes place right after. So if he had a broken leg or something, you'd know why. Because what happened in the previous comic. And that was the comics were a window into a world that operated whether you bought the comics or not, right? So if you dipped out of some title for a while and then came back in, it would be like, oh, I missed a bunch of stuff. What happened here? Why has Captain America been replaced by U.S. Agent? And you'd be mad at yourself for not buying the other titles. And that was part of the thing that got people to read, and the cliffhangers and the other stuff. But now, like, there's almost no editorial control at all. It's everybody's off on their own, doing their own things, and And it shouldn't be that way. If they went back to that and at least had some consistency in the world, at least, when you have characters in the Baxter building talking about Spider-Man or X-Men or whoever, you understand why they're talking about it, because things are going on in the Marvel Universe. Bezic, I miss editing. It feels like a lot of even professionally released books aren't done like they used to. Yeah, because, well, for one thing, I use Grammarly because I can't really afford an editor, but that works pretty well. But, you can understand why I do that, because I'm broke and I'm doing it all by myself. But what excuse does, I don't know, Penguin Books have if there's a mistake? To me, that's embarrassing beyond belief. If you're talking about a multi-million-dollar book publishing entity and they got mistakes in the book, that's beyond, right? It's this shouldn't even happen. And I see that on news websites all the time. When I skim headlines, I see stuff spelled really wrong. There are the scans Grammarly will miss words spelled differently as other words, right? So if you mean, it can catch some grammar, but if you mean, to T-O instead of to T-O-O, unless it's got the grammar portion, you might miss that. But there's no excuse when it's just a whole different word or just a really poorly spelled word. What did I see the other day? I saw something the other day and I was so annoyed. I think it was from Fox News. And it was wrong in the headline. And at first I thought, oh, this must be a translated headline. Nope, that's wrong in the headline on the website too. So it's just not a skill anymore, because everybody depends upon the computer, which is bad, because now you have Microsoft going, oh, don't worry, we're gonna make sure all your language is woke now. Our software will check and ask you, and Grammarly does this too. Oh, some people may not like that word, and I tell Grammarly to go F itself, and I use the word anyway. So you got to be careful on that front. If Grammarly goes totally woke, I may have to subscribe to another service, or actually hire a based editor somewhere if I could find one that would work for my measly money. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's annoying. All right. Since we're 40 minutes in, I think I ought to start with some of the headlines. Black Adam stays on top. They called this again, 27.7 million. Yeah. They're getting good at predicting this. So let's check the numbers. Black Adam, 27 million, up to 111 million. That's pretty good. Bezic, exactly. The professional stuff usually avoids basic errors, but I find it a lot of flow, pacing errors, or things that feel wrong. Don't really know how to describe it. Some of it's just, I think they're just terrible writers. Anyhow, looking at the box office, Ticket to Paradise is number 2. That's not doing so hot. Yeah, 10 million? That is not that good. But Ticket to Paradise is making money internationally. See, it's only made 33, domestic, but it's made 85 worldwide. But that's still not great. It probably cost $100 million to make this stupid thing. Fly everybody to, I don't know, Bali or wherever the hell it takes place. By the way, little known fact, that's half the reason celebrities agree to do certain movies, because part of the way you entice them is you say, oh, we're going to shoot in Italy. Oh, Italy. Yeah. At the end, you get to go to Italy, and we have to do a scene. This was, there was a movie called FX about a special effects guy, and Brian Dennehy was I think he was just in the sequel, FX2, and so there's a whole thing where they recover these coins, these ancient coins, for the Vatican, and at the end of the movie they go to the Vatican to give him back the coins. They put them in the collection plate, and that was probably so. And I think Brian Dennehy actually said this in an interview that was part of the deal. He'd get to take his whole family to Italy for nothing. Right? You get to go to Italy. Yeah, we're here for a couple of weeks working, and then we'll go see the sights, and that's a good gig if you can get it, right? Oh, we're gonna shoot in Bali? Yeah. Oh, how long? 3 months? Oh, wow, 3 months in Bali for free. And then I'll just be there already. So I can just stay another week or two, or stay another month. Whatever. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. And then go back whenever the studio says, oh, we'll send you back. And, knowing the studio with somebody like Julia Roberts and George Clooney, I'm sure part of the deal was, oh, I get to have my family out there too, right? And I get to have a house. And I get to keep it for like an extra month, so I can stay out there and blah, 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 blah. It's all part of their payment in their contract. So basically, they go to Bali, they work there for a couple of months. It's pretty easy work when you think about it. And then, I get to stay there an extra month and have a proper vacation on the studio. It's a pretty good gig. Pray for the Devil. Now, I remember looking at this trailer a long time ago, so I'm not sure when they shot this thing. This may predate the pandemic even, or shot during the pandemic. But I remember seeing it a long time ago, at least a year. But at least they released it during Halloween, so that was smart. This looks like another good Halloween movie, and there's Smile right after it. Smile's doing really good. Yeah, solid numbers on Smile. I mean, that's 185 million. 185, so 90, basically over 90 million domestic and international. That's rock solid for a movie like Smile, because that was not a big budget movie. Maybe that movie cost 20 million, 30 million, maybe. They're definitely going to make a sequel to that. Oh yeah, that is definitely going to be a sequel. That is like, it's not quite as good as, say, Blair Witch, but it's up there. Halloween Ends, 60 million. Did not do well internationally. See, like, Smile is twice that. For worldwide, you're talking 94 million, and Smile doubled that. That shows you how much people give a crap about Halloween now. Halloween Ends, I should say. JC, scary movies in October are always money in the bank. Yeah. Yeah, and you'd think Halloween Ends would have done better, but everybody's saying it sucks, so glad I didn't bother to go see it. Not that I was really all that interested. Lyle Lyle Crocodile, kids movie, doing 50 mil. I don't know. That's probably money, I guess. I mean, it's probably not that expensive to do, but seem to get a lot of advertising. Oh, here's Till finally. I think they released this a while back, but they hadn't put it in a lot of theaters for some reason. I don't know. I mean, it's up 673%, I think, because they jacked up the amount of theaters. Yeah. It finally had a wide release. JC, I'm not even that big a fan of the original Halloween. LOL, I love the original Halloween. I think it's a really good movie, but yeah, I mean, like, it didn't deserve a million friggin' sequels. It deserved maybe one, and then the third one, and then something else. So yeah, Till. Yeah, I didn't think this movie would do gangbusters. It's just kind of depressing. And I don't know if I don't think there's a big enough audience for it. Yeah, it's only, I mean, domestic, sure. Are they going to release this movie internationally? Why? It's just not going to land with foreign audiences. I don't even know why they made it. They seem to spend a lot of money on it. I don't know. Terrifier 2, this movie, seems to be doing well for a low budgeter. 7 million? I mean, I don't know how much it would have cost to make this movie. I don't think a lot. More than seven. It could be more than 7 million though, but probably not. I mean, you could make a movie like this pretty cheap, but they're touting it as a big hit. So I assume the this was maybe $1 million budget, something like that. JC. I mean, in the context of it being the first slasher, it's good, but every slasher after that is exactly the same, and it's so underwhelming now. Yeah. Yeah, is it the first slasher? I guess it is. I think it was better. The first one was, another reason it was better, it was like Michael Myers was just a weird guy, and then he dies. And that was kind of like, okay, it's over. And then when they kept bringing him back, it was like, oh, well, now he's supernatural. It's like, that wasn't what it was really about. But yeah, this Terrifier, do we have financials on this? No. So, probably not a huge budget. Halloween is the first slasher? Probably. Yeah. I mean, it definitely predates Jason and Freddy Krueger. There is another movie that predates it, but it's not really a slasher. It's a gory movie though, where a lot of people are horribly murdered for no reason. I forget what it's called though. I saw it. I went to a movie fest to see it. Like, oh, it's supposedly I think they actually billed it as the first slasher, but it wasn't like, one guy killing a bunch of people kind of movie. It's about a weird town where they kill people. It was really a strange movie. JC, some people say Psycho is the first slasher. Oh yeah, there's that. That would be more in line with it. Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. Psycho I love. Psycho feels more like a mystery because it's such a big twist at the end. Texas Chainsaw, I don't know. Texas Chainsaw is like different. It's more like a monster movie because it's just like he's there. It's not a lot of surprise in Texas Chainsaw Massacre from what I remember. But Halloween was the first to nail down the formula. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's John Carpenter. I mean, he was always good at that. He just makes such good movies, John Carpenter. I wish he'd make more. The Woman King. This movie hangs on for some reason. Still in 1,400 theaters. At 64 million. 87 worldwide. I don't think that's money, but could be wrong. I mean, it could squeak in under 50 million, I guess, but seems like it was a big budget movie. Tar is another movie I thought would do better, and now it's getting a wider release, 1,000 theaters, so it's doing $1 million. This probably didn't cost much at all. It looks like Oscar bait. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Triangle of Sadness looked kind of interesting. Some people said it was good. Woody Harrelson's in it. You would think a Woody Harrelson movie would do better than $2 million. Now it's... Oh, they did get some international box office finally. It's in 610 theaters, though. The Banshees of Inisherin, though, it's only in 58 theaters, and that's way up, but... And then the rest. The rest of nothing, basically. The Bad Guys? Oh, wait, that's that cartoon. That did 96 million, too. Still can't touch Gru, though, for cartoons. Woman King not passing 100 mil worldwide is embarrassing. Yeah, if it costs that much. I mean, it's all about the cost. I would think it would cost that much. I mean, at 64 million, it's, Oh, OBG70, hello. Top Gun, still hanging on there. Armageddon Time. This movie did not look good to me. I don't think it's going to do well. It's an Anthony Hopkins movie. Takes place in the 80s. Holy Spider looked kind of cool. OBG70. Are you handing out copies of book 1 to the kids tomorrow? No, that's money, bro. That's my money. That's my meal ticket. I might sit out there with a table and sell it to them, though. Hey, kid. Did you bring any money? Here's your candy. Get the hell out of here. JC, the advertising would have cost 80 mil probably. LOL. Yeah, probably. Usually I think the formula is like whatever the budget is, that's what they spend on advertising too. So you just basically double it. But it's kind of hard to peg what The Woman King would cost. John Boyega is in it, Viola Davis, and they're not cheap, but like there's a lot of costuming, but there's some stunts, but it's not like there's cars and explosions. OBG70, get them addicted on book 1 so they buy the others. I gave out comics one time. One year I didn't buy candy. I just gave away a bunch of comics I didn't want. And that went over well. The kids came back to my house a week later and asked me for comics. But this Holy Spider looked interesting because it's about, I believe it takes place in Iran, I think, and it's about a serial killer in Iran. Internet says the budget was 50 million. Okay, I could believe that. So yeah, it needs to do 100 million just to break even. Yeah, and I think it might just squeak over that line if they keep it in theaters another 2 months. And if it gets some Oscar nods, which I think it will, because the Oscars are total ass, and so it might hang on into January and February, or they might have a re-release and then put it out and say, oh, it's out again. See the Oscar-nominated Woman King because you didn't see it the first time. And then, they might just squeak over 100 mil. Bros. Bros made 11 million. It's the lowest rom-com for Universal this year, which, I mean, it made 11 million, but that's probably not break even. The sad thing is, see how they run. That looked good, and that only made 9.5. JC, woke people hated The Woman King for different reasons. I don't think it's getting any awards. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Woke people hated it, but Hollywood loves it, and Hollywood is stupid. We'll see. What's the other movie I was rooting for, too? Oh, Amsterdam. Yeah. Amsterdam's at 14 million. Another movie it's a shame. I guess that'll be on HBO Max in a week, and I can watch it there. At least it'll be free. Wait, who made it? 20th Century. Oh, it won't be on Warner Brothers. Oh, I can watch. Here's all the Warner Brothers movies I can watch. Don't Worry, Darling. Oh, boy. And, I could watch Black Adam instead of going to the movies. At the rate I'm going, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I still do want to see it. Most of the costumes will get nominated, says JEC. Sound editing, maybe. Definitely the costumes. So yeah, that's marketing, man. They're gonna try to. I think they're gonna try to push it back out there. And possibly same thing with Amsterdam, because that was another movie they thought would do better. I thought it would do better too. Tar is definitely Oscar bait. It's definitely Oscar bait. It looks good though. Triangle of Sadness, I don't think so because it's neon. I think it's just there. But I don't think that made any money. 2.5 million. That is not enough money for that movie. That movie had to cost. That had to cost at least 5 million, at least. I mean, come on. Woody Harrelson's in it. Even if he took he probably took a massive pay cut to be in it, but I mean, that movie had a lot of locations and was on a ship and there was a lot of people in it. All right. Enough of the numbers. Let's see what else is going on in Variety. SNL takes aim at battleground state elections in cold open with Cecily Strong, Heidi Gardner. Is that somebody playing Carrie Lake? Because that really looks like Carrie Lake. I gotta hand it to him. That looks like Carrie Lake. But that's not, I assume. I assume that's a still from SNL. This is... talk about someone who should get an award. They should get an award to SNL for their makeup sometimes, because the one thing they do well on the show now, a thing they never had the budget for back in the day, is their costuming and look. They can make almost anybody look like anybody now if they spend enough money. Twitter blames flood of N-words, other racist slurs following Musk's takeover of organized trolling campaign. Arden is here. Hail all. Hail Ardent. Most of the N-words coming off of Twitter, though, are for the lefties. They all said that they would punish Elon for buying Twitter. So it's exactly coming from that. And they do not give an F. The lefties, when they are mad at you, they do not care. They'll justify anything. So saying the N-word on Twitter, which is something you apparently can do and get away with all the time, if you're willing to either make a ghost account or just don't give an F. Which is crazy to me, but you think that would be a word they would actually edit off of Twitter. You know, they won't. They leave things like, you know, bad movies with children, if you know what I'm saying. But they'll leave that and then, you know, edit some innocuous comment again, you know, that criticizes a trans person or something. Ardent, it's definitely not an organized campaign. It's edgy boys and butthurts. Nice. Survey, there's a clear MVP amongst cable news anchors, and it's not even close. Who cares? And look, here's Variety still propping up Rings of Power. The Rings of Power cast members talk emerging from racist backlash. These characters are undeniable. We felt a lot of love. Ardent, was it Ligma Johnson? Yeah, those guys got me too. I didn't say anything at first. I think I retweeted something and made a comment. I didn't really know. And then later I said, "Oh, that's Ligma balls." So I did tweet that. So I got at least the first part relatively soon. The Michelle Obama book should have been a dead giveaway. Should have been a dead giveaway. Should have seen it. But look at this. Rings of Power cast members talk emerging from racist backlash. There's a racist backlash, everyone. These characters are undeniable. We felt a lot of love. How did you feel a lot of love in a racist backlash? Okay, whatever. So they're still talking about the show. They're still begging people to watch it, I guess. It's like pathetic. It's really pathetic what they did with Rings of Power. JC, I didn't think it was that crazy a troll, LOL. No, it wasn't, but it was only good because so many of the media guys fell for it. Apparently, it was all over the mainstream press. Bob Dylan pays tribute to Jerry Lee Lewis with a cover of I Can't Seem to Say Goodbye. Oh, good for you. Yeah, man. I said on my videos, like, TMZ's lucky Jerry Lee Lewis died, because you don't mess with the killer. He'd be pissed to find out they reported him dead when he was still alive. Black Adam hits 250 million at global box office? No, it didn't. It's not at 250 million yet. Ticket to Paradise flies past 100 million. What? No. Did it? Oh, wait. Global for Black Adam. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, for Black Adam. Ticket to Paradise. I mean, yes. Okay. For global, yes. I mean, they're making it sound flies past 100 million. I mean, I guess that's money. I don't know. I don't think so. But Black Adam, that's money. Oh, what the hell, man. Oh, and I forgot to change this. Hold on. All right. I got to ban somebody here. Hold on. I got to... Boom. Ban you. There we go. Some crazy spam in the chat. All right. Now they're gone. I fixed the chat, by the way. So if you say something spicy, now I'll see it. Let's move over to the Hollywood Reporter and see the same 10 stories. This is weird. Southern and East Africa's best city, wine, and country destinations. Okay. I'm not sure why you're putting that in Hollywood Reporter. JC's Sexbot. Yes, it was. Ardent, LOL. Thoughtbots, rouse. The White Lotus cast on creating an extended family on the set of season 2. I haven't seen this show. Everybody keeps talking about it. It doesn't look interesting to me, but feels like a TV show about a cult. Oh, here's a story I talked about yesterday. I can't believe this. They're replacing Henry Cavill on The Witcher with Liam Hemsworth. That seems like death to that show. I mean, no offense to Liam Hemsworth. I think he's fine, but I think half the reason people watch this show was for Henry, right? That was the whole reason people watch this show. They love him. Oh, this is brutal. It's a brutal switch. On the 4th season, you're going to switch him out? I think that's it. Unless he looks exactly like Henry Cavill, which he doesn't. He won't. You know, it's just going to be like, okay, here's a different dude. Here's a different dude, and here's a bunch of woke crap we put in the show, because I guess it's kind of going woke. And look, they're still trying to prop up Andor, too. Andor director Toby Haynes talks that Forrest Whitaker, Stellan Skarsgård scene, it was a career highlight. I guess. The show's not a career highlight, I would say. I wouldn't even put that on a resume. Jeez. Andor. No, thank you. Ardent. And just like that, The Witcher is dead. Yeah. JC. They're already on the 4th season? How? Yeah, I didn't know that either. So you look up and it's just like, oh, it's season 4. And I'm like, oh. But I think that show's done. Totally done. Deadline, otherwise known as Variety Point 1.0 or 1.2. Oh, they got a Vision series coming out. Talked about this yesterday from Disney Plus. I don't even know how are they working this? Are they going to build another android? Like, what? He was dead. I don't know. Nobody stays dead in comics, but Bruce Arnold dies, founder of the soft rock band Orpheus, was 76. I don't remember that group. Soft rock, maybe that's why. China locks down more than 232 million people. This is a Deadline, the movie magazine. Isolates Macau hotel as zero COVID policy continues. 232 million people. That's almost as many people in the United States. It's 100 million short, but think about that. That's not their whole population. That's just a portion of it. And they think they can keep COVID locked down. I don't think it is. Ardent, using the Caucasian one from WandaVision? That's racist. I don't know. There's another one. Did they create a second one on the Wanda show? I didn't watch that Wanda show. That looked like... Ugh. As soon as they said, oh, it's going to be WandaVision, they're going to go through different eras of TV, I was like, out. Goodbye. Ardent, LOL, zero COVID. It is illegal for you to get sick now. Stop it. The CCP, yeah. The most hilarious thing coming out of China, though, was they had developed butt swabs instead of mouth swabs, and they were actually supposedly trying to implement them on people from the American embassy. They were going to try to do that, I think, just to humiliate them. I don't think they actually work, but supposedly, like, instead of a mouth swab, you'd have to drop your pants and they'd poke you in the butt with a swab and then test that. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine doing that? I mean, really, I think they were close to doing it here at some point. It felt like at any moment something like that would be instituted. Oh no, these are much more accurate. Drop your pants and bend over. Might as well have. Twitter boss Elon Musk censors himself after tweeting conspiracy around Paul Pelosi's attack. Okay, well, that's interesting. Ardent, LOL, the funny thing about the swab style is exactly where I tell them they could stick their test. Exactly. And then they could say, okay, bend over. That's weird. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to say, oh, look, I'll censor myself. Now we're all being censored. No, that's fair. Or does he not have enough of a grip on doing things on the Twitterverse yet? Maybe that's why. Maybe the system isn't totally working yet. What's the unfounded claim about the brutal attack, though? I heard a lot of stuff, and I totally expect to be banned at some point for speculating about it, but Salty Cracker had a video. Now, he contends that it was a gay tryst, which doesn't sound too far-fetched because it does explain a lot, because the guy was caught in his underwear. Ardent, could be some subversive text there still. Yeah, that's a point. But with the Paul Pelosi thing, it's like the guy was there in his underwear, right? So do you think the guy walked there in his underwear? Or did he get there and then take off his clothes? Ardent, I think this is in reference to the suggestion that it was a male prostitute. Yeah, but that would explain a lot, because otherwise he walked there in his underwear, right? And I know it's San Francisco, no one's going to stop you from walking around in your underwear, I guess. But wouldn't there have been more red flags? Wouldn't somebody have stopped him from going into the damn place if he showed up, knocked on the door in his underwear? Like, and then, like, at other times, he was described as a friend of the Pelosi's, or not an associate, but like someone who was known to the Pelosi's. So it seems weird that he would just walk there in his underwear carrying a hammer. And then the other thing too is, you know, he let Paul Pelosi go to the bathroom, and then at that point he had his phone charging in the bathroom, and he made a call to the cops, and that's how the cops got there. So it's like, okay, one, as Jack Posobiec points out, who recharges their phone all the way in the bathroom? Two, if you were there to rob the guy, why would you let him do that? Or why wouldn't you just, like, I don't know, tie him up or whatever? Ardent, the guy is supposedly some sort of ex-Green Party member and a naturalist, for what that's worth. Yeah. And to be fair, we've all seen Nancy Pelosi. Who would you rather shag? Oh, LOL. Ugh. Ugh. Sophie's choice. But then the other thing is, like, the cops come in, and I think they're both holding hammers at that point. And when the cops come in, that's the moment when the guy in his underwear attacks Paul Pelosi, my understanding, and hits him with the hammer. And then the cops don't intervene right away, is the impression I got from the stories I've read. Like, they're kind of like watching things play out a little bit. I guess they're yelling at him to stop, or they're struggling over the hammer, and then the guy's like, doing like, why are you hitting yourself, Paul? Why are you hitting yourself? Kind of thing. And then, but he really messed him up. I mean, he had to go to the hospital to get his skull examined. So, but then the other side of that is, Paul Pelosi can afford a good male prostitute, right? Like, Paul Pelosi, if he was gay and wanted a prostitute, he'd get some, like, Abercrombie and Finch guy who was all decked out, nice and clean. He wouldn't have to shag some homeless guy who with a hammer down on his luck. So, yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense. Unless that's his thing. He likes the danger aspect of it. Or the guy was good looking and sort of was Paul's guy for a while, and then became a drug addict, crazy guy, homeless guy, or whatever, and now he keeps coming back for a handout, and Paul just keeps giving it to him because he feels bad for the guy, and he did shag him a few times and whatever, and he's hoping he's got his life together, and he never does. So there's something really weird going on with that whole story that I don't quite understand. And then just the weird reaction, like the police show up and they don't stop them right away. And then now, like, there's just been story after story after story. There's just detail after detail. Aren't it? Benny Hill theme plays. Yeah. So that rabbit hole is deep for the Pelosi incident. Deep. So we'll see what happens. And then the other possibility, maybe Nancy hired him. Maybe Nancy gave him a 20 and said, hey, go to town. Because, Nancy's getting ready to retire. She don't want Paul hanging around. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Let's see. How Hocus Pocus 2 became a spellbinding success as Disney Plus's most watched movie ever. I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of good buzz on Hocus Pocus 2. A lot of people said it wasn't very good, even by the standards of not very good movies. Feels like they're fronting for that a little bit. Also feels like Disney is probably playing with their numbers, and that maybe the most watched movie ever on Disney Plus isn't all that watched, or they're counting people who literally just turned it on for 10 minutes and said, this sucks, and then turned it off, which really shouldn't count, That shouldn't count as a watched movie. If you only watched 10 minutes of it, I think you kind of went, this doesn't look any good. But I've always contended that the studios are lying about their numbers. Ardent, LOL, I see what you did there. Rabbit hole, deep. LOL, yes. I've always contended there's no way to really check the studios. And there's nothing illegal, I don't think, about gaming the numbers, except, there could be a civil lawsuit, I assume. There's no advertising on these streaming things. It's just the customer. So unless some, law firm decides to do a group lawsuit against a streamer that's lying about its numbers, it's, and then like, what are you going to get out of them? Like, I guess you'd get the money back for all the money you paid for streaming, but that you bought based on what you thought was a cool streaming service. But they're also giving a lot of streaming services away. I mean, I have 2 streaming services for free. I don't even want them. If they ask me for money, I'll say, no, take your streaming service back. Go F yourself. Ardent, that Hocus Pocus story, even Maury Povich said it was a lie. I see what you did there. So I don't believe that. Quentin Tarantino was on Bill Maher. By the way, he said that Kanye West saying that Django Unchained was his idea was a lie. Basically, that was his idea. It's a remake of a movie. It's my understanding. It's just remade with a black character instead of the original guy. Twitter head of safety and integrity warns of organized effort on hateful conduct. Oh, this is the woman who just lost her job. What's her name? She's got a really weird name. Hard to pronounce. It begins with a V. I forget. She was the lawyer, the Indian lawyer that was on Joe Rogan with Jack, the creator of Twitter. Jack, @Jack. And she's the one who bragged about banning Trump and everything else. Oh, man, when she got fired, happy day. Happy day. Him, her, and the CEO and whoever else. I mean, fire them all. Fire them all, Elon. Even if you only fire these people and do nothing else, it'll be a great day. Vijaya God and Jack Dorsey. Thank you, Ardent. Wendell and Wild is Henry Selick's inventive and dizzying triumph. I think that's a bit overblown. This is also a children's cartoon with a trans character in it. I know you're all dying for that. So make sure you get over there and see that. I'm sure it must be wonderful. Must be wonderful to have a trans student, a trans child in a cartoon, because that's so normal. Ardent emoji, little guy emoji. It looks like a sloth. What is that emoji? All right, let's see what else is going on. Let's try rap. Kanye West posts graphic Emmett Till photo to Instagram alongside anti-Semitic screed against Ariel Emanuel. I don't think you want to mess with Ari. He's the character. He's the guy they based Jeremy Piven's character on Entourage, dude. Thumbs up. Oh, is that what that is? Oh, okay. Now I see it. Sorry. Old man eyes. Yeah, I don't think you want to mess with Ari, but go ahead, ye, I guess. Let's see. Diddy dressed as Heath Ledger's Joker for Halloween and committed to the bit. Okay. Not sure why you would want to do that, but okay. It's Halloween. Go nuts, I say. Let's try bounding into comics. Yeah, nothing in here. Try IndieWire. Yeah, pretty much the same headlines. OBG70, Entourage was a horrible show except for Ari Gold's character. Yeah. Yeah, supposedly the rumor is he's just like that. He's just like Ari, and that's who Jeremy based him on. So I think we're just at a wrap here. Let's see. Let's try Cosmic Book News. I like Cosmic Book News. Yeah, nothing really new going on. I don't want to get into the politics. I got to save something for my other videos. Yeah, so my plan is I'm going to wrap up here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. my plan is to do a Halloween live stream tomorrow night at 7. And my plan is to go through my remaining comments for the Lotus Eaters and get all the ghost stories done. And then on November 1st, I want to start doing Lotus Eater white pills and try to cheer up the guys on the Lotus Eaters who have been very down of late. They seem very bummed out. I want to help cheer them up. So I'm going to stay on for another month, even though I really sort of tight for cash. But the the money in the UK is so screwed up. Ardent, well, you mentioned rapping, and my lag is so bad. I better say goodnight now. Ardent, cool to see you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. Yeah, so I want to give the guys on the Lotus Eater some white pills every day on my comments instead of doing the ghost stories, because they seem so bummed out lately, and it's a shame. And I know their money sucks, and winter's coming, and that's gonna suck. So I think I'm gonna. Good night, OBG. Ardent, yes, we need white pills. Yeah, I feel bad for them. So I think we're going to do a month worth of white pills before I go. Probably, and also too, people are going to be sick of ghost stories after Halloween. It's kind of a wrong time to do them anyway. So that's the plan. So I'm going to promote it on the Lotus Eaters tomorrow if they'll take the comment, and then do the Halloween live stream tomorrow night at 7 East Coast Standard Time, and then normal videos. LOL, winter is coming, says Ardent. Yes, it is. So hopefully I can come up with some good inspirational white pills. Just fun things that will make people smile, or maybe be wholesome. Maybe just positive news stories. CS Cooper, cscooper.au, suggested that in his comment, so I'm sort of riffing off of that. So hopefully it'll be a fun time. They'll like it, and hopefully they'll show the comment, and lots of people will show up, and that'll be a cool live stream. All right, so that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. I got to get going on 4 more videos tonight. We'll do a News Blast, a Piney podcast, and a couple of trailers if I can find them. See ya in the next one. All right. And